Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergog, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at why Lakyus attacked the Slain Theocracy and how Slain might have changed over the course of its very own history. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel and say my thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's start with the topic at hand. When 600 years ago, 6 players arrived in the new world, things looked pretty bleak for humanity. And how many, or rather how few of us were left, we don't know. We simply were never told how far humanity had been pushed back, and how close it came to its own extinction. While in our own world, thanks to technology and intelligence, we dominate this world and no longer fear predators. The world of Overlord is filled with all sorts of intelligent and far more powerful predators than us. Dragons, wyverns, creatures like half-tiger, half-horses hybrids, huge humanoid spiders, and all sorts of other monsters against which humans must defend themselves. Many times in vain. Even now the Dragon Kingdom suffers under the invasion of the Beastmen, and despite their greatest efforts, the human realm cannot stop the voracious enemy. As for the Beastmen, it is less of a war, and more of a feeding frenzy. And 600 years earlier, things looked even worse for humanity as a whole, as they couldn't use magic at all, and we were thus even more vulnerable than today. But the 6 players who later would be revered as gods by the surviving humans not only protected humanity from their predators, but also managed to teach them magic, and with that the later Theocracy could defend and assert itself much better. In other words, the world of Overlord is enormously dangerous, and humanity was almost rendered extinct. That's why the Theocracy of Slain has also such a humanocentric worldview. Humans are, according to them, destined to eradicate all non-human life in order to finally live in peace and prosperity. However, 2 of the 6 players or their avatars were not human, which apparently led to the possibility of coexisting with other races, such as the Elven Kingdom, or rather elves in general, and much suggests that it was the Elven King, who by kidnapping the then strongest godkin and defiling her, turned the Theocracy against all the elves, and made them enemies in Slain's very own eyes. Coexistence between humans and the many non-human creatures, such as goblins and ogres, as seen in the village of Karen, is still possible, and even the city-state alliance of Karnasus, which wasn't protected or aided by Ain Sulgon in any way, consists partly of human cities, although humans are not the majority there. And even in Arkland, there are humans, and the adventurer team around Skama El Barrow fled there after Azud Ainra bought them some time, by defeating the Death Knight and the Death Warrior. The question arises then, what does all of this have to do with Lakyus? Well, Lakyus is from the Blue Roses, an adventurer team with an downright ancient history, and her own predecessor, Rigrid Bears Karoo, fought alongside humans, heteromorphs, and demi-humans against the so-called evil gods who invaded the New World 200 years ago. And even Evil Eye, another member of the Blue Roses, is a witness to this very period as well. In other words, they probably encountered a much more open-minded and compromising Theocracy, a Theocracy that knew and understood that collaborating and fighting alongside non-human beings could be crucial for humanity's very own survival. Because remember, the Slain Theocracy had also founded the Adventurer Guild, which operated even in the Karnasus City-State Alliance and within Arkland, and they are not human majority countries. This in turn would also explain why Lakyus and the Blue Roses fought against one of the 6 scriptures, the elite forces of the Slain Theocracy, the Sunlight Scripture to be more precise. since the Sunlight Scripture's task was, until its very own destruction by Ein Soul Gone, to eradicate any and all non-human settlements and non-human life forms that they could encounter. However, it seems that the goal was no longer to defeat threats to humanity, but simply to exterminate non-human settlements because they were non-human, and therefore per definition evil. There was no longer any differentiation between friend and foe, between races like the Beastmen, which saw humanity as nothing more than a bunch of prey animals, and races like the Elves and the Dwarves, with whom one could cooperate on an international level, and even live together on a national level. For instance, the Baharut Empire not only made Gorgin a war troll, a champion in its very own Colosseum, or rather allowed him the opportunity to earn glory until he was the champion, but had also good diplomatic relationship with the dwarves of Silesia, long before Ein Soul Gone arrived. And they were protected from things like slavery in the Empire as well. And this is likely more or less the worldview of Lakyus and the Blue Roses. Evil Eye is an undead vampire princess and a so-called Rainbow Eye, so she was never a human to begin with. And still, she fought alongside other non-human beings and humans for the new world. That's why the Blue Roses were so disgusted by the black and white thinking of the Theocracy. Especially the Sunlight Scripture, that they intervened when the Sunlight Scripture was about to eradicate a non-human settlement. Because here's the thing, you can still work together and live together with individual non-human beings. And this fundamental lesson that the predecessor of Lakyus, Rigrid Berskaru, had learned, and that Lakyus still practices simply by having Evil Eye in her team, has become a mindset for Lakyus, a worldview. For remember, Lakyus risked her very own life by healing other people without demanding exorbitant sums of gold for it. This angered the temples, which monopolized healing magic, and also set the prices for its use, so much that they instructed Tina and Tia, the twin assassins, to eliminate Lakyus. However, both of them ended up joining Lakyus, and it is also thanks to Lakyus' strict moral compass, based on individual rather than collective guilt, to help, protect, or fight against others, depending on the individual behavior. And therefore, in order to defend a presumably innocent demi-human village, an open battle between two human forces, two human elite forces, between the Blue Roses and the Sunlight Scripture occurred, ending with the defeat of the Sunlight Scripture and the injury of its leader, Nigun Grit Luin. However, this did not lead Nigun to conclude that his own worldview might be wrong, but he kept the scar that Lakyus gave him with her sword, Killenarium, the same sword that the Dark Knight, one of the members of the 13 heroes, wielded, as a reminder to himself to never forget his duty and show weakness in the future. Even though the Theocracy could easily have healed the scar, he still clung to his worldview, despite being shown that he was the aggressor, that humans and demi-humans could aid and defend another. And that's also why it was necessary for Lakyus to be attacked, poisoned, and then put under mind control, so that the Blue Roses could escape from Ein Soul Gone's army. Because Lakyus would die for her morals and her belief and her convictions, to do what is right when it is necessary, even if it would cost her own life. And of course this was something that the more pragmatic Evil Eye and the rest of the Blue Roses did not want to do. And it's interesting to see how Lakyus and the Theocracy contrast here, even though both are willing to die for their convictions. And it's also quite clear why Lakyus and the Theocracy think and act the way they do, without the story judging or condemning either side of the equation. So this off-screen battle gives a great insight into both the mind of Lakyus and the mind of Nigun Grit Luin, and therefore by proxy the Theocracy at large. and how it might have changed over the course of 2 centuries. And with that said, now it's your turn. Let me know your thoughts about Lakyus and the Theocracy's conflict and her off-screen battle with Nigun Grituin down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to all of my Patreons for supporting this channel. And special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, ASK, Bad Guy, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Thiralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Le Louche Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, oh hell no, Normal Toad, Oak Hill, Overlord General Gaspar, Paddy Pantom, Paz Sonage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.